Hey there, Speedy Bathtub Boy here, and welcome back to Project Cars 2 for another video. Now there's a reason I did that stupid intro, and that's because I'm going to be racing the Lotus 25 Climax up the California highway roads, basically. Now, this is a staple of British motoring, and also sort of motoring worldwide, as this is the first race car to use a monocoque. Now that's basically where the chassis of the car is all one piece. So before this, people have been using tubular framing, which added a lot of weight. Now this reduced weight massively and gave massive success to the Lotus team. And obviously at the hands of Jim Clark, and Graham Hill, I think, it was an absolute weapon. Yeah, and I'm going to see how well it drives along the California highways. Here it is then. Um, you can see the V8 there, strapped to the back. 3 red lights, and we are away and racing. Obviously, no ABS, traction control, or stability control. That just wasn't a thing back when these cars were around. It means you have to be very careful not to get it on the grass. Now, one of the keys to this car is maintaining momentum, being smooth. If you watch any sort of videos of Jim Clark driving, while he is wrestling with the car, he's very smooth with his lines. And that's very hard to do with a car like this that just wants to slide all over the place. Rear wheel drive, obviously, and rear engined. You can just see they basically made the monocoque and then just strapped the V8 motor to the back. So, yeah, I mean, that was most rear engined car. I think rear engine or mid engine. I don't know which one to use. Anyway, into the dip hairpin then. Bit of a spoon here. Collect all of your yogurt there. That was weird. Anyway, up through the first windy section. Looking very smooth. Now, the steering wheel was the same colour as the dashboard. I turned it off a while ago in Project Cars 2 because it was really sensitive compared to my inputs. But it's a lovely red colour. Yeah. So along through this section now, you want to hug the white line, but be careful not to get onto the grass because you will spin through this, the first of many deception corners. But a shift down to first there, and that is a mistake because with the power delivery, it's not smooth at all. In first gear, it's not smooth. You just get here, have all of the power at once. And it's a handful to control. Over the first ramp, then I didn't get as much airtime as I did in the McLaren P1. I've just clipped the barrier a little bit there, but because I was going a lot slower. Obviously, no downforce. Well, no aero downforce. Obviously, the weight of the car. And the tyres, which are just skinny little bicycle tyres. But I think they're bicycle tyres all round. None of this whole dummy thick rear tyre malarkey. No. Hard on the brake. And the brakes, I think these are disc brakes. I don't think they're drum brakes. Definitely not up to the level that modern brakes are. What do you expect? 1963. 51 years before the McLaren P1 that I drove up here when I first drove the California highway. It's hit hard on the brakes for another tight corner. Made the risky decision to switch down to first there, past the petrol station. I know it says gas, but that's just wrong. Big slide there on the exit of the corner. I mean, it's not easy to control when it gets into a slide because you can control it and then it might stick out of nowhere and then you just get sent the other way basically. Locked up the brakes there a little bit. Obviously when you lock up there's nothing you can do. You're just going straight on. Quite easy to lock up as well in these cars. So it's all about just being smooth, smooth, smooth with all of your inputs. Um, yeah, that's the throttle, brake, and steering. Really suited Jim Clark's style. He's a very smooth driver. I mean, if you go back and you watch some old clips of him just driving this car, try and find a one where you can see what he's doing with the steering wheel. Because while he's wrestling with the car, it's all very smooth. And mesmerising to watch, actually. I'm a massive Jim Clark fan. You may have noticed um, at this video, but yeah, I mean, watching old film like that and seeing what the tracks were like. I mean, you think this looks a bit unsafe because all the stopping was a guardrail. Imagine no guardrails on a circuit like this, and you sort of get the. I mean, that wasn't even the level that they were on though, because there's actually some nice open spaces. Most of the time, forest. That was the catch fence, and it's not a very forgiving catch fence. A solid oak tree. But yeah, go back and watch some go back and watch some clips of old F1 after you finish watching this video, though, obviously. Yeah, it really gives you a new level of respect for the drivers of yesteryear. Down towards the Poundland Golden Gate Bridge, then can really let this V8 motor sing. I mean, it sounds incredible. Obviously not the same look. I mean, this is what it looks like. I mean, bicycle tires, and you can literally just see where they put like a sort of bit of an engine cover on the back there, but they've just strapped there. You can see the axles bare. You can see that. You can really see the suspension working away with the road there. I mean, just really raw. None of this whole wheel covers or even suspension covers. You can see have the suspension wire there, just plain view. But it made the suspension very weak though. So you tap the barrier at any sort of force, suspension damage. Once you have suspension damage, because you have to crab, because it starts crabbing, you get into a slide, it's almost impossible to fix. Unless you've suddenly got extremely used to where you need to hold the steering wheel for neutral. Into the long right-hander, bridge corner, as I'm calling this, because you go under the bridge. Imaginative, I know. And then down towards the ramp, I believe. Oh yes, here we go. You got a little mini taster ramp here, the trainee ramp, before you get put on the big boy. That's like the kids roller coaster, and then this is the main one. I mean, actually losing speed. Still got big airtime though. Actually lost speed though. Going up the hill just shows how steep it was. Sliding a bit there. I think I've done quite well to keep the car under control, he says, hoping not to jinx himself. Give myself a commentator's curse. That wouldn't be good at all. I mean, if this is faster than the P1, which it absolutely won't be, but if it is, then that just goes to show how shockingly I drove the McLaren P1. It won't be though. I only tapped the barriers a few times. But yeah, I mean, doesn't have the it's not the fastest car in the world. It's good fun to drive though. It's a handful, but good fun. The second real deception corner there, and the camber has really thrown me off. So I've just slapped the barrier. I want to get back up out of first gear there. Through the second deception corner, and commentary's way behind. Onto the main straight then. I say the start finish line, onto the finishing straight. There's a point to point. See what the lap time is like. It's 8 minutes, I think. 8 minutes. 8 minutes 24. Good stuff. Let's just go for. I mean, this is the sun's starting to come down as it thins out big time. Imagine 32 other cars coming along here. With it being having to just thin out like that, and across the line. Oh, it's just such a good looking car, isn't it? Right, 8:46.9. So a minute 20 seconds off the P1. Let's see. Let's see how. I mean, it's such a good-looking car, isn't it? I could just look at it all day. I love the fact that Project Cars 2 gives you period race suits as well. So you know, so in these cars you get given the open face with goggles and a balaclava. In the 80s F1 cars, you know, actual race suit but no hands device. And then in the modern cars, you get given a hands device. I think it's brilliant. In terms of immersion factor, you don't get much better than Project Cars 2 on console games. Driving physics probably could be a bit better. Don't like the fact that the force feedback cuts out, but after you've done a certain amount of races, not a fan of that. Yeah, sort of overcorrected there. But you can see how close you are to the ground. And actually just how sleek you are. I mean, so Cooper was the first team to go for mid-engine. Got barely any airtime there compared to the P1. Cooper was the first team to go mid-engine, and that also revolutionised the way people design things. They're two really revolutionary cars. I think the Cooper was what, 61, 62 maybe, early 60s, and then this was 63. So two massive motor racing innovations within a few years of each other. I mean, you just would see that nowadays. How strict the regulations are. They're a lot more relaxed. Gave people opportunities to make incredible innovations like this one. Right, so we've seen the first jump. Let's skip ahead now. I'm sure it's waffling. I think they're quite interesting facts, but you know. Anyway. So I've said it before. I mean, as good as it looks, it was literally a kayak filled with race fuel with a fat engine strapped to the back, and that was all it was. I mean, the rims are what make it iconic. I think the fact they're just bright yellow. I mean, the whole car is iconic, but the rims. You can see the smoke wire locked up there as well. Yeah, I mean, just the whole thing. I mean, you can see how much the driver is laid down. I mean, so previously they would have been sat bolt upright, sort of in like your armchair, but when you're not relaxed and then the football's on, your favourite sport's on, you're sat forward, craning to get a better view, that sort of stuff. I mean, this just looks like he's lying down, and that's because he was. But also, when you're lying down like this, you're a lot closer to the racetrack, gives you a better feel of what's going on. And obviously, if it was a particularly bumpy circuit, you might bottom out. And what some people had magnesium frames because it was light. And if you bottom out, you get sparks, and that just didn't end well. We skip forward though. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible car. I'm waffling so much, but I hope you're finding it vaguely interesting. Into the Poundland Bridge. I mean, this was wider than most circuits could ever dream to be, unless they were being held on a motorway, like at Avis, which was only used in 1951. It was basically two motorways with a fat banking at the end. Mad. There was no barrier at the top either. Absolute madness. Scrapped after. They might have been used 51 and 52. Don't know. They actually banned. They banned banking in the 60s, I think. They banned banking in 61 after Wolfgang von Tricht had an accident. But yeah. Here we go then. To the ramp. Let's see how much airtime we got. I mean, that's just a feat of nature, isn't it? Oh, I mean, that wouldn't look at a place at a Nürburgring Nordschleife Grand Prix. It's yeah. I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video. I've tried to give you a little bit of insight into the car. I'm usually just cracking jokes the whole time. No, I'm joking. See, done it again. No, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this sort of blend between information and I've tried to be funny in parts, but yeah. I mean, there it is. Looks incredible. I hope you have enjoyed this video though. If you did, tap that like button. It'd be much appreciated. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe if you want to. Leave any ideas in the comment section down below. If you want to see me, you want to, you want to see me take a car up here, then feel free to drop it. Yeah, just name the car. See if it's a Project Cars 2, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.